How should we set the price and allocate the supply of hand sanitizers during the pandemic? Economists are virtually unanimous. The best way to increase the supply of any good that people want and need is through prices. When prices go up for a product, there are strong incentives for others to make more of it. If demand for hand sanitizers skyrocket, then that supply will surely follow. Soon, the demands will be satisfied and prices will begin to fall back again to normal levels. But people are pretty much horrified by this idea. They consider it price gouging, they consider it the evil to profiteer off those in need, they see it as a source of exploitation, and believe that individuals have, in some sense, a right to this highly needed, highly desirable good. So, what should our policies look like regarding the supply and the allocation of hand sanitizers? I don't know why I have such a hard time saying hand sanitizers. First, again, we want more evidence. So, how essential really are hand sanitizers? How much demand is there for them? How much supply? How quickly can we increase the supply? Who will have access to that, and so forth. But then let's focus a little bit more on the values at stake here. And let me suggest that here are a few worth considering. The more essential a good is, the greater the importance of making that good available to all. So, water, yes, people should have rights to that. Teslas, no, perhaps less essential to our existence. So allocational justice is important in thinking about how we want to distribute necessary goods in our society. However, the more essential the good is, the greater the importance of increasing the supply so that human needs can be met. And markets are actually great at this. Prices do work. So when I think about the policy, I'm not sure that I want to not let prices rise at all, or to let prices rise to whatever the market will bear. But here's how I might think about this. For essential goods, we might guarantee some supply of the essentials so that all people can have at least some access to that. And one mechanism for doing that is through governmental distribution. After the initial distribution of the essentials, we might let prices rise so that those who want to buy more and can afford to do so are able to do that. So minimal supply, and then let people buy additional. Now, there are complications of thinking how to do that, but in fact, we already choose many policies. In many of our policy areas, we pursue policies like that. So, for example, in our country, we have Medicare. Medicare is the health insurance program for the elderly, and Medicare guarantees basic coverage for all our seniors, but those who have the additional ability to pay can buy additional health insurance and health care. So it's at least worth imagining a similar policy for something like hand sanitizers during a pandemic, or, as the Sandel book points out, water supplies after a hurricane. Would there be administrative difficulties in the program I'm suggesting? Yes. Will there be political complications? Of course. Democrats are more likely to favor universal provision of essentials to all, while Republicans are more likely to favor free markets that allow people to buy and produce items to the best of their ability. Of course, there will be differences across the parties. So, what do you think regarding policies for scarce but important goods? What do you think people need to know to thoughtfully address problems like this? What values do you consider to be most important in designing our policies, and what policies do you think would work the best? Finally, what do you think would be the main political challenges to obtaining your preferred policy? All questions worth thinking about, all involving real-world